You need to hear this because most men miss it entirely. A hug can tell a woman everything she needs to know about you, your steadiness, your maturity, even whether she should let herself want you. You can speak perfectly, wear the right clothes, act the part, but the moment your bodies meet, the truth is felt. Touch doesn't lie, it strips away the performance and speaks in a language older than words. Done well, one brief embrace can open something inside her that no line ever could. Too many men hug without intention. They rush, they fumble, or they hold on like they're afraid to let go. Women, biologically, pick up on those micro signals. In the space of a breath, they read your energy, your breath, your rhythm, your calm, or your chaos. In that instant, her body decides, do I trust this man or do I need to stay guarded? Listen, attraction is rarely about perfection. It's about presence. When you hug her, she isn't counting muscles or checking a cologne label first. She's noticing whether your energy steadies her or rattles her. A rushed, needy hug tells her anxiety. A composed, relaxed hold tells her safety. And safety is the soil from which real desire grows. Flashy moves will get attention. Quiet steadiness creates longing. This is the paradox. Safety and attraction are twins, not enemies. A woman only allows herself to want what feels safe enough to explore. That's why some men, without trying to impress, leave an unforgettable mark. Not because of what they said, but because of how they touched her presence. Your aim isn't to manufacture feelings. Your aim is to become the kind of man whose energy naturally invites them. Have you ever hugged a woman and felt the room shift, like she held on a beat longer than you expected? Maybe you thought nothing of it. Maybe she felt something you never said. The key to a powerful hug begins before your arms move. It begins with your internal state. Most men think a woman responds only to closeness. The truth is deeper. She responds to congruence. If your words promise one thing but your energy betrays another, she'll sense the mismatch instantly. Women's intuition is tuned to hesitation. The slightest tension in your approach, the way you breathe, the eye contact you make before you step in. So when you reach for a hug, bring calm confidence, not craving or nervousness. Don't perform, connect. Let your presence say, I'm here, I'm steady. When your quiet assurance shows, she relaxes. That relaxation is the beginning of attraction. Attraction isn't forced, it's invited. When you open your arms, do it as an invitation, not a grab. Let her enter your space willingly. That shift, from taking to inviting, makes all the difference. Women respond to polarity. A man who leads without bulldozing, who is tender without collapsing. When she steps into that, don't squeeze immediately. Pause. Feel the presence first. That brief silence communicates patience, control, awareness, the very signals that register as confidence. Then, hold her with firm but relaxed energy. Not too loose, that feels indifferent, and not too tight, that feels needy. A secure man embraces, he does not cling. In those seconds, she's feeling not only your arms, but your nervous system. If your breathing is deep and even, her body mirrors it. She calms. She starts to associate you with peace, and peace is magnetic. Think about oxytocin for a moment, the bonding chemical. Touch releases it. But oxytocin only builds positive connection when authenticity and safety are present. If she senses tension or motive behind the hug, her body resists. But if your hug is grounded, if it feels like you're not asking for anything from her, her guard drops. In that space, she feels curiosity, a gentle wonder. Why is this different? Why does this feel so calm? How do you create that stillness? The simplest tool is breath. As you hug, breathe slowly and naturally. Let your exhale set a steady rhythm. Her system will, unconsciously, sink to it. Her shoulders will soften. Her heartbeat will slow. That sync is the invisible thread that turns a forgettable embrace into a memory she replays later. Presence is not flashy. It is small and surgical, one even breath, one steady hold, one mindful release. Hand placement matters too, but more as a signal than a set of rules. One hand lightly on the upper back, the other resting mid back. Firm enough to ground, gentle enough to comfort. Don't wander, don't fidget. That balance, strength paired with restraint, communicates respect. It says you know power and you choose to use it responsibly. That choice builds trust faster than any compliment. When you release, don't yank away like the hug was a chore. Don't hold on like you want to prolong it desperately. Step back slowly and hold her gaze, not with hunger, but with steady warmth. That moment of eye contact says, I'm not desperate for you, but I see you. It leaves an echo. The echo is what she remembers. It's not the texture of your jacket, it's the way she felt inside it. There's a primal truth here. Women respond to how a man's energy lands on them. She may not be able to explain it, but her body knows. The steadiness in your breath, the calm in your posture, the stillness of your presence, all of those register as something rare and appealing. When they align, she senses a shift inside herself she can't name. That is the moment attraction deepens. Most men fail because they treat the hug like a transaction. If I hold her long enough, she'll feel something for me. Real connection is not obtained by strategy. It's created by authenticity. Women can smell neediness. They can feel performance. But they are drawn to a man who is whole. A man whose calm comes from himself, not from the hope of getting something from her. That is the kind of presence that allows her to let down her guard without fear. So practice presence. When you hug, connect from a place of groundedness, not from an agenda. Don't try to impress. Just be there. Share the stillness. The more often she feels your calm, the more she will seek it out. She won't be able to articulate why, but she will feel compelled to come back to that sensation. That is the power of emotional resonance. Here's another detail most men overlook: the space after the hug. A few seconds of silence matter. Don't fill it with jokes or an over-eager line. Let the quiet hang long enough for her feelings to catch up with the body memory you just made. That pause is where reflection happens. She will replay the hug, notice the steadiness, wonder why she feels warm and safe, and the curiosity becomes attraction. When you step away, your body language should still speak your intention. Stand straight, soften your eyes, offer a small, knowing smile. Not an attempt to charm, but an expression of calm self-possession. That contrast, the grounded hug followed by composed distance, creates a delicious tension. Tension that keeps her thinking about you long after you leave the room. Attraction thrives on that emotional aftertaste. Remember, this is not manipulation. It's learning to be present and deliberate with your energy. Emotional resonance is simply two nervous systems aligning. The more you can hold your calm, the more her system will match it. That creates comfort. Comfort invites vulnerability. Vulnerability invites depth. Depth invites desire. And here's the subtle psychological twist. When she associates you with that feeling of safety and steadiness, she begins to crave that state. She starts to think of you in those private, quiet moments. She reaches for texts, replays the hug in her head, notices how different it felt compared to others. That's not magic. It's memory, reinforced by emotional truth. So the next time you hug someone, treat it like a message, not a move. Think of it as a signature you leave on her nervous system. Aim to create calm, not spectacle. Bring presence, not performance. Invite, don't seize. Hold, don't cling. Release, don't flee. And watch how a single, well-timed embrace can change how she remembers you and how she thinks about you later. Before I finish, reflect honestly. When you hug someone, do you do it to be liked, to test her reaction, or do you do it to truly connect? Be honest with yourself. That honesty will change everything. If this resonated, share it. Like, subscribe, and pass it to a friend who needs to understand the power of presence. because small gestures hold the biggest truths. Most men think attraction begins with looks or lines, but real captivation begins with the emotional imprint you leave, the memory of feeling safe, held, and seen. Be the man whose hug is remembered for how it made her feel. Master the stillness, master the rhythm, master the pause. Make your presence the place she wants to return to. That is how you create longing that lasts.